Hello and welcome to The Wizard and the Priestess. I am your host, Nuala, and I have a co-host
That
named.
got there.
Welcome to today. We are going to jump straight into what we were leading from last week into our life hack series
Yes.
and how to essentially hack at life.
Hack at life. Wow. Hack into life. Hack the life.
Hack the life. Yes. So I was thinking from my perspective, we were talking about, well, obviously Matt had his number one.
How did that go?
Yeah, it was fine. I had a nice clear sinus for about the night, and then the next day,
Went back.
no, we're pretty fresh.
That's a peppermint deficiency there.
Absolute peppermint deficiency. I'll have to look into that. So we were we wrote down a bit of a list of things that we, my list is what I personally do to hack at life.
Give me one.
So
this is not biohacking. This is like proper hacking.
this is physical hacking.
Legit.
So what I essentially did when I went home, I was like, oh, okay, what is something what I realized is that every day I actually am doing things specifically.
Yeah.
And so every morning when I wake up, I'll do a meditation. Mm-hmm. Now, that is a specific meditation. But
Is that like an intention for the day type thing?
No, it's a focus on the meditations that I'm doing at the moment are all about essentially manifesting the future through the present day. So getting really clear on my overall
Dream, goal, objective?
yes.
Yep.
For now. And then once that is reached, then doing it again and again and again.
So you're tapping into all the probability vortices.
Yes.
And you just want to line up with the good ones.
Yeah. And just keep...
Simple.
Yeah, bringing that in. And, so that's the initial one. And then once I've done that, once I've turned that on, then depending on how I feel, so if I've woken up and I'm quite tired, I'll do eye exercises. Mm-hmm. And so...
Can you show one?
So essentially you do 100 blinks.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
100 times?
What if you lose count?
Or you just go and go and go and go until, and then if you forget again, you go again. I usually count to 10 times.
Right. 10 sets of 10? Okay.
10 sets of 10. And then that usually wakens me up enough to get going for the day. So that's my coffee. 100 blinks.
It's different to white coffee.
Slightly different. And then I'll get up and then I will tend to go to the bathroom. And when I'm in there, you could probably use a neti pot for this.
A neti pot?
Yeah. Do you know what a neti pot is?
I don't.
Essentially, it is a bottle that looks a bit like a bong.
Right.
Has a tube out the side.
Yeah.
And a long tube in the middle. Just like a bong. Okay, just picture a bong.
I've never had a bong.
Oh, do you know what it looks like?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's long in the middle and then has a little thing spout out the side.
It's not a hose, is it?
Could be a hose if it's a homemade bong.
Okay.
But that hose part is essentially where you pour the neti pot into one nostril.
Oh, I know
you know what a neti pot is now?
Yeah.
So I don't have one of those.
Okay.
I did have one for a while, but then it kind of gets dirty and you have to clean it.
Yeah.
So, hack, just use your hand and inhale the water up one nostril.
Yeah.
And it'll go up and sometimes it'll go around and then you squirt it out the other side, which is what you would do the neti pot.
Okay.
And the whole idea for that for me is kind of like cleansing out what's been stagnant through the night.
Right.
And I'll tend to do that before I go to bed at night too.
Yeah.
So it's like that same thing. It's just clearing out the nasal passageway, clearing out the sinus and like starting that fresh movement.
Is that comfortable?
I'm so used to it. It doesn't bother me. It sometimes hits that point at the top that you go, like you get the real sensation. But if that happens, it's going to be a good day because it really like opens, like the body obviously goes into like constriction. It constricts everything and then it releases. And in that release, everything feels really clear and open.
Or you could just do a peppermint oil.
Peppermint oil also option, but
all in one times over.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I do that every morning, and then after that, I will gargle water. Mm-hmm. And so they're like those things essentially how I start the day.
Eye blinking,
Blinking,
home
bomb, no.
pot thing.
Neti pot,
Neti
but with
pot.
my hand.
Hand pot.
Hand pot.
Yeah.
And or like nasal passage clearing, and then same with the throat.
How long do you gargle for?
I sing a little song.
Do you want me to get some water?
No, I can't do it now. It has to happen in the moment.
Okay.
But I'll just go.
Okay.
I'll do like scales.
So that's like Vegas nerve stimulation.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Hacking.
Boom. Yeah, well, I've got that on the list.
Oh, it's on there.
Somewhere.
Yeah, right. So yeah, and then when I used to jump in the ocean, which before pregnancy, and I will probably start doing that again now. Jumping in the ocean first thing in the morning. I would do all of this with the seawater. So
you neti pot the seawater? Mm-hmm. Do you blink underwater?
I would in the ocean. So the other thing that I do my blinks if I'm tired.
Yeah.
But when I'm at the water at the tap, I'll do the nose. And then I'll also do the water in the eyes. So I like wash my eyes with fresh water, and I open my eyes and wash them with fresh water. I don't wash around it. I actually open my eyes and splash fresh water in my eyes. If I'm in the ocean, when I used to do like ocean swims every day, and like I said, I will start doing that again.
So you don't stand in the waves and get the water and just openly aquaban
I'll just
yourself.
like swim under the water with my eyes open.
Right.
But I could what's this? Aquaban yourself? Aquaman. Maybe Aquawoman myself if I need to.
Yeah.
But so that would be my morning routine would be I would do it with the seawater, clean out my nose, do the gargles with my throat, and wash my eyes in the ocean.
Okay.
And I have the other thing about that is the life hack is being in the ocean in the morning.
Yeah.
And like I really see that as a deep cleanse of the body. It feels like the most profound way to start the day, and whether that is just the cold shock awake, but it also is something from my perspective, the way that it's like that not remineralized, but you know when it's like it takes those excess atoms around us that are like kind of
it's all positive negatively charged ions. Yeah.
So it just like moves that
really grounding effect.
Yeah. And I felt so fantastic when I swam every day. And they're the kind of start the day routine that I'll do every day. And I feel like I tend to start the day pretty good.
Do you tell patients to do that?
Yeah. But probably not as regularly as I could. But if you're watching now, get amongst it.
Get amongst it. Aquaman yourself. Cool.
All right. What do you want to... Oh, and then...
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Shall I go on, or
sure,
you got something for the morning?
Talk about you.
What about you for the morning? Do you want to... Can we work it through like that?
Okay. Well,
so morning. What have you got in the morning? A life hack for the morning? Or first thing, because I've got some other things for the morning.
Okay.
I want the first thing.
I think the first thing I'd do would set an intention for the day. It's not really a hack per se. It's got nothing on peppermint oil, but it's still arguably as strong. It's more just setting the intention for the day, thanking, spirit or whatever cosmic forces you bow or pray to, and just thanking for the day, how much fun you're going to have that day. You felt loved, you felt heard, all the things that you desire for that day. And it's slightly different every day. And, yep, fun, filled with love. Today I thrived. I was really happy. And it is done, and it is done, and it is done. So you put that intention out there. And then from there, if it doesn't go that way, you know that's not a part of your day. Because that's not what you intended. So energetically, I've Aquaman myself, everything myself.
And the idea with that specifically is as if it's already happened, right? Because that's what you just did for the morning. It's like, this is
that's
how
my
it
day.
was. That was it.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
What time are we at?
I'd say, you're at sunrise.
Yeah, sort of first light.
And I've done all my washing.
You've bathed?
I've bathed. The whole upper respiratory.
Yeah, I would.
Or the head, mainly.
I would typically do a workout. And I'd have a coffee first, like a real coffee, not a blinky pretend coffee.
Is that a hack?
Well, we spoke about coffee a couple of episodes ago. Mm-hmm. And the number one tip, first of all, has to be organic. And
so you'll have yours
with butter. I'll have my espresso with butter. But if you don't like the butter thing, then a lot of people addicted to sugar, they can put honey in it instead. So honey in coffee instead of sugar.
And that does the same thing. Oh, instead of sugar, not instead of butter.
No. Well, instead of butter as well, yeah.
But it's not doing the same thing as the butter because that was all about the molecules, right?
Yeah.
Or the fat.
The fat getting tied up the caffeine getting tied up in the fat molecules, but the sugar is a really good sugar. The honey, if I can speak properly, is a really good sugar replacement.
Okay. All right, and then what have you do? And next life hack, like next thing that
I'm trying to think what I do in the mornings.
Obviously not hacking it live.
Oh, the hack comes. I assure you, the hack comes. Then the workout. Maybe a hack could be, so everyone complains to me that they don't have time to get good food.
Uh-huh.
For me, I put everything in the slow cooker overnight. Then it's there for the day. Mm-hmm. That's the hack.
Oh, there's a hack. Slow cooker overnight.
Yep, everything you got.
Brussels sprouts and all.
Brussels sprouts.
Many as you got.
Everything.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Isn't that like a Swedish delicacy?
Brussels sprouts. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to cook them.
Pickled, probably. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, so now I've done all my cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
So this morning starts with a cleanse. Then we continue that cleanse in the kitchen. So after the bathroom, going to the kitchen. The next hack I have is lemon water. Yep. This is definitely something that I recommend to nearly every patient I have.
Yep.
Now, if you are someone who is digestively weak, so that is the sort of person that has a coffee and needs to do a bowel motion instantly.
Mm-hmm.
That person should probably minimize the lemon in this. But for someone that can hold...
Is there a TCM thing with that?
In terms of the
lemon water?
Yes, it is very Chinese medicine.
Okay.
So it's like cleansing.
Right.
So the way I like to look at it, and I've definitely told most of my patients this, is when you digest food, like through the night, we have the workers. I think I've shared this before on the podcast too. We have the workers that work really, really hard all night refurbishing, and they're cleaning up, and they put all their scrap out into the kind of passageways, and then the lymph and the lymph workers and the other workers, the liver specifically and the immune system,
great,
they then collect all that rubbish and they move it downward to be excreted. And so to ensure or to support those workers' job, we do the lemon water, which lemon obviously is a form of bitters, so it's going to help awaken the digestive system, but it's also going to, if you think of it from my workman's perspective or theory or not theory, what do you call it? Like story, is that the trash that they've put out, that lemon water, the first thing that goes into the system is then going to move that through.
So they're like the garbage
truck. Yeah. So the lemon water is kind of like the garbage truck, or if you've been to La Tomatina, those trucks that go through with the spraying of the water. That's essentially the lemon water in the morning. And you want it to be warm as well, so that you're maintaining that thing. You're not shocking the
water
system.
Or the lemon?
The water.
Yep.
So you put the hot water, then you add the lemon, and I would use half a lemon. And
so just to be clear, it's an actual lemon, not lemon juice.
Yes, no, an actual lemon, freshly cut and squeezed, hopefully ideally chosen from the market.
Organic,
smelt. No, it's a fresh smelling lemon. Should smell like lemon. That's good. So half lemon, and then drinking that. Now, if you have any digestive weaknesses, I would say a piece of lemon, still squeezed in and potentially left in the glass.
So less lemon?
Less lemon.
Okay.
The warm water should be enough.
Okay.
So that would be the initial. Now, depending on the weather conditions, so we are now moving into springtime, so I would just stick to the lemon water and then I'd move into my breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
That's not life. That's not a hack. It's just life. But if you are if you're wintertime, you really want to start the day after you've had your lemon water.
Yeah.
Then you want to start your day with broth.
Oh, yeah.
And that, just really that collagen drink.
It's one of the few things that we consume that actually hydrates you and satiates you at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I have drunk that thanks to Nova, a really great, awesome person in my life. And she has been providing that for me and my family every week throughout my postpartum. And I have, not going to lie, probably drunk a litre of that when I get the 2 litres a week. The first litre's gone within the evening of receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I divvy it out for every day after that. But yeah, it's been...
With the broth, do you have the same sort of animal or do you rotate it?
I have only been drinking chicken broth. However, before I was only drinking beef broth. Now, if we want to talk about broth, we need to be really specific about how long and what animal.
Okay. Go on.
There is something very specific to the size of the animal that comes out and can actually increase your risk of low mood.
Mm.
So the bigger the animal, the higher the risk because of the amount of, I don't know what the thing's called, but you should probably start with smaller animal.
Is it the higher the animal, potentially the lower the mood type thing?
Yeah, the bigger the animal, the more of this particular
like an energy
enzyme in it.
Oh, right, okay.
And that can really, really throw your serotonin levels.
Yeah.
So whilst I feel personally never felt any change in the broth that I've consumed, I can only say that Nova's recipe is just fantastic, and the way she makes it has been so heavenly that the chicken broth has felt really fantastic. But prior to that, when I would drink bone broth myself and I would make that on beef bones, that was also good. But yeah, we do need to be a little bit conscious of that.
Okay.
That
I've heard that before.
There actually is a difference between the size of the animal, the difference in their bones. It makes sense, but I wish I knew exactly what the thing is that's inside of the bones, because obviously as a animal forms, or a human or whatever animal forms, it's going to, that bone density. Is it
something to do with marrow?
It could be to do with the marrow.
You got the rest of the episode to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to figure it out. My brain is...
That's not the attitude. We need more broth. Come on over.
Yes.
Back to the...
so, yeah, that's a bit of a hack. Through the winter time, highly recommend starting your day with broth.
Yeah.
After you've done all your other cleansing parts.
Well, you've blinked.
Once you've cleansed, then you go into...
kitchen.
Moisturising.
Sorry.
So, through...
Yep.
So, yeah, you really... okay, I'm next. You go. What do you got? What have you got in the kitchen?
When you were talking about lemon, a lot of people have reflux.
Oh, yeah.
So a really good way to determine if it's actual reflux, which is actually not too much stomach acid, it's usually too low. Where the goblet cell, if the stomach's struggling, the cells up the top produce the acid instead of the goblet cells down the bottom.
Okay.
And then it gets mistaken as the sensation of reflux. If you get a lemon, squeeze it into a glass jar. If you drink a third half an hour before a meal, a third during the meal, and then finish it off after the meal, if your symptoms decrease, you actually need digestive enzymes.
Yeah.
Life hack.
We should really got it.
I know.
Damn. No. Life hack.
You just do that every time.
Okay. Okay, so do you have anything else once you're in the kitchen? Do you have a life hack for the kitchen other than overnight make your food in a slow cooker?
So it's slow cooker, nuts.
Okay.
Soaking nuts.
Oh, soaking the nuts.
The different nuts require different soaking times. So cashews need, I think, 5 hours, where almonds need like 12 to 14. Each nut and grain comes coated in phytic acid. So we can't break that down as humans. So the soaking gets rid of the phytic acid, and then you can slowly heat it up so you can actually effectively digest nuts.
Cool. And would you say, so I sometimes soak nuts, sometimes don't soak them. Would you say there's a reason why I don't have any digestive discomfort from eating
I would only
nuts,
really, I mean, some people are more sensitive than others, obviously.
Okay,
If you're not a priestess and struggle with nuts, it'll be something that it'll be a slight or maybe even a big bloating effect after eating nuts.
Yeah.
You could feel fatigue, or you might see them in your poo after.
Right, yeah.
So if you see it in the bowl, then it's creating inflammation the entire time.
Yeah, fully.
So food stays in us 55 to 72 hours.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so moving along, I had a good one. Once you've come out of, oh, that's right. Okay, so coming out of the out of the kitchen, we're not going to go into breakfast and food, or do you have something?
No.
We've done plenty of that. The next one is, so whatever I do in the morning, I'll have a shower, whatever. But this is something that I think, and I think we're going to come next week's episode, we're going to jump into this because it's really important to me, is the ritual of connection to self. So that could be the intention that you're setting in the morning. It could be, for me, that meditation. But for me personally, as a woman, I find that I do this through facial massage. And so usually that, or in the past, it's just been a very, very layman style of like cleanse and moisturize and different layers of moisturizing.
Is it a specific massage, or is it just...
So then I did Anastasia facial fascia, or fascia facial. Mate, anyone who wants to... Okay, I'm not going to go into it, but me and Hampus did it for 3 weeks, and Hampus being my partner, we did it for 3 weeks, and honestly, the before and afters...
Yeah, right.
I think I showed you the photo. No. The before and afters were terrible. So the before was really good, and the after we looked really tired. So we were like, huh. However, since then, I feel like my face is glowing more, or is like feeling more full.
Right.
Wouldn't you say? Anyway.
I'm not going to say no, am I?
Of course not.
Okay, can you give us a quick...
So anyway, no, I don't want to go into that for the moment. However, what I do when I'm putting on my cream in the morning is I ritualize that connection to self, and that's what I'm talking about, what I want to talk about.
So it's a self-care routine.
Pretty much. Yeah. But essentially, I'm like conscious of it. And now, having done this Anastasia fascia facial, she's like, she's got, she's all about, you want to soften through the neck, and you kind of massage the chest, and you like make sure you massage your trapezius and then your sternocleidomastoid. Mastoid, yeah, I was going to say that, but she says it in a really funky way, and I was going to say that, but caught myself. Anyway, and then she's really about like make sure you do the chest, and then she's all into like getting onto the deltoid and make sure you get, and then you get to the face. And then once you're in the face, you kind of do like all these different massage bits up the...
It's like a lymph massage, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever it is. She does all the things. And then you do like kind of ones like this, and you get into the eyebrow, and it's all about getting into that. And then these ones coming up into the head. And anyway, I don't do this in the morning. I would do it in the evening and then into the scalp as well. But in the morning when I'm putting on my cream, I ritualize this thing where I'm like touching my face, and whilst I'm doing it, I'm reminding myself of the beauty that is in my face, or the energy that is in my face in that time, or like, I'm trying to be really conscious about how I'm touching my body. And like, if I feel something like right there when I just did that, I was like, oh, that's a little bit uncomfortable. And then I'll be like, okay, like gently releasing that and like allowing myself, okay, you can let go there. So it's sort of this idea of reconnecting to self, being conscious of where I'm touching that feels uncomfortable, and then putting my cream on. And now Hems would definitely say that I take a long time in the morning, but there is a few things that I do, and I don't do a lot of things, but in the morning I like to really take it slow, and being slow in that could also include dry brushing my body before I get into the shower. And it doesn't matter if the kids are screaming, I'll still be there dry brushing, or like putting oil on. And I probably only do that once a week, but I'll put oil over my whole body after I've done it. I'll do a bit of a, thanks to a friend of mine, the knockdown rebuild idea once a week. Oh. And that could be for a woman, it could be wash your hair, dry your hair, straighten your hair kind of thing, shave your legs, shave under your arms, whatever you want to do. For me, that is probably a dry brush and oil.
Okay.
Whether I wash my hair or not, that's another day.
Here or there.
However, so hack in the morning is to ritualize that beauty routine or beauty care, and like making it in like it more than just putting stuff on your face, but more about getting into like what am I finding while I'm doing that.
It's also what that symbolizes as well. Like you're literally going out to face the world. So it's prepping for that.
Yeah.
So it's having pride in that as well.
Yeah. And I think personally for me is like that, ensuring that whatever I'm putting onto my face and however I'm feeling as I'm going to face the world is as soft and as gentle as I possibly can. Hack, 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 hack. All right, so now we've faced the world. What's the...
Okay. So going back to your... Is it gargling?
Gargling salt water?
Yeah. That stimulates the vagus nerve.
Okay, yeah.
Vagus nerve's huge. Is it big in TCM, surely?
We don't really talk about the vagus nerve as such, but however, I know, because we're not really into nerves.
So the vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve, but it's kind of like the police officer of the digestive tract. So a lot of people with digestive disorders have a loss of what's called vagal tone. So anything with gargling, singing, humming, chanting, all that kind of stuff, that's all vagal toning. I'm sure that's how you say it. So the gargling kind of, is that during the day for you, or is that just the morning?
Gargles just the morning.
Just the morning, okay. So to self-treatments then, so you're doing the face.
Yeah.
There's lots of self-treatments that you can do anytime, anywhere. You just got to know where stuff is. So with the face, you can actually drain the sinuses by going into the frontal sinus, which is about a centimetre or so from the
end
inside.
Of the eyebrow.
Yeah, inside of the eyebrow. You go up into the bone and you feel like a little ridgy hole. That's where frontal sinuses can drain. If you push up, it'll likely be a really dull ache, but it will help drain the sinuses.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go to the bottom of your nose, go out maybe, how far is that?
Half a centimetre.
So half a centimetre or so, you'll find two little holes there. That's where some ventral nerves come out, and that's where the maxillary sinus is. So just rubbing that can help. Also pinching the skin between your eyes and your mouth, so like around the cheekbone, that helps drain the face. That's where all the maxillary veins and arteries are, so it helps drains the face. What's another good one?
And we're draining the face because it gets stuck?
Often people get build-up of pressure in the head, so that helps drain it from the brain. The brain doesn't like pressure change.
Why don't we go one? Okay, yeah.
And you could go into kidney liver stuff as well with drainage issues, but it's just a really quick hack. No, didn't do it. Cool. For the face, while you're up there.
Okay, yeah. But we should obviously go and see you to make sure that we're doing more than just like trying to reduce the pressure we're building up in the first place, right?
That could help.
Would help too. I had a really cool, so there's quite a few really cool things that I learned. Another thing that at the end of the day, are we at the end of the day yet?
Should be anytime.
Okay, so at the end of the day or whenever it is, if your eyes get tired, so like the Chinese, as you would see and know, like they are so good at longevity. They are focused on longevity. If you've ever been in China, you know that every day at about between 2 and 5, they are in the park
PM.
dancing, stretching. They organize themselves no matter, like probably more of the older generation. I'm sure the younger generation are doing less and less of this, but there is singing, there is dancing, there is movement, there is tai chi, whatever it is, they are moving about in the park and they are not like, they're not missing. There's no one missing a day. You do not miss a day. Like they are very conscious of that. And one of the kind of bringing it smaller, like obviously not so much physical activity, but if your eyes are tired, so you can do your blinking, 100 blinks, or it's probably 200. They've got a big thing about the number 200 of everything. However, there's another one which I do, which is the clock. So you start in the center and you do the clock around. So you do 12, 1. So you start at center and you're looking up to 12, coming back to center. 1, one's that way to center. 2, 3, center. 4, center. 5, center. 6, center. 7, center. 8, center. 9, center. 10, center. 11, center. 12 again. And then you just do that
200 times.
Well, not 200 times, but I would say that when I used to be studying on the computer all the time or reading papers or whatever it might have been, I would find that I would do that.
Is it like a reset?
It's almost like it's just using the muscles of the eye in a way, like you've been lazy looking at one thing, watching a computer screen, whatever it is. It's like there's no tone being curated by that. Whereas like
which creates pressure.
Right. So using that clock or even the blinking and like looking at different things, it actually just activating the eye muscles in ways that they haven't been used. So that's why I like going out for a walk or going for a running more specifically is actually because your eyes are constantly glancing elsewhere. And there's something to do with that as well that's really helpful for the brain in terms of, I can't remember what it is, but I remember being told that in a course recently about the running is actually running and that movement, eye movement. That's like that EDMR or whatever that rapid eye movement. It's like a special.
Is there a link to that?
Is it EDMR or something like that? You know, the eye, and they like they're like watch my finger. You know this therapy. And you use your eye and you go back and forth, and then they'll ask specific questions, and then your rabbits will go and find the information and bring it to the forefront of your mind and like make you understand things better. Right. And it's because of the rapid eye movement.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, I can't think of what it's called. But either way, these eye exercises is just to essentially strengthen your eyes or activate your muscles again, which means that your eyes then like are trained a little bit and then they're not as tired or sore.
I like that.
Another one. Next one is...
I will see your eye thing and raise you a breathing thing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So when you're stressed, you get predominantly left brain.
Yes.
Now, we have what's called an ultradian rhythm, which is... If we naturally breathe out of one nostril more throughout the day, typically 30 to 45 minutes it switches. When you're asleep, it's every about 90 minutes. It's the body's way of balancing out the hemispheres. So we need to be logical, then we need to be creative and blah, blah, blah. Most of us, when we get stressed, we get logic and we get stuck in logic. So if you want to know what brain hemisphere you are now, breathe through each nostril.
Mine are even.
Sure. I'm left brain right now. So if I'm around Nuala too long,
I'm more right brain. Makes perfect sense.
I'll get very stressed, stuck in my left brain. So a way I can balance that out is alternate nostril breathing.
Yeah.
So you simply breathe through one nostril, alternate.
Yeah.
And just do that for a couple of minutes, and that balances out both hemispheres of the brain, and it calms you down.
Fantastic. Okay. and I'll take your alternate nostril breathing and I'll raise you an ear exercise.
Ooh.
So the next one is, once again, what you're doing is you're essentially tapping or flicking the back of your head, like, so covering your ears and then flicking that finger onto the back of your head, but make sure you cover your ear, and you'll hear like the thump, like a really deep thump. Anyway, it's essentially activating the ear canal and like strengthening your hearing. So if you're getting weakened ears, that kind of sound will awaken the eardrum in a way.
Do it for the camera.
I can't do it for the camera. Can you do it for the camera?
What's this? There.
Yeah.
Thump. Hope the microphone picks that up.
It's exactly what I did. Anyway, we've done it for the camera now.
Is that 200 as well, or just?
Yeah, I'd say you do it 200 times, and you just create the thumps. So I remember I used to do all these little things. I don't do them as often anymore. But I'd put my hands over my ears, and I probably wouldn't do 200, to be honest. But you like probably get to 100 maybe, or whatever point I go.
Yeah.
Okay, my ears are solid now. We're good to go for the day. So yeah, that's another one. Hack. But it's one of those things that, all of these little hacks.
Yeah.
They are really fantastic. And if you were in China, a lot of them would be done every single day.
Yeah.
The other one is to awaken the kidney energy in the morning. So obviously you want to bring that fire light back to life. You want to, obviously support your kidneys as much as possible. You'll never see a traditional Chinese person, maybe not never, but it's likely that they are not covered their lower back. It's not warm, that they're not wearing a scarf. Right. They maintain their warmth inside. They cover their meridians. They make sure that energy of qi that is on the exterior of their body is being supported as best as possible. So the other thing is, actually, Matt, can I get you to demonstrate this? If you stand up and you'll take your hands like this, like a fist, 2 hands, and you can turn around. Oh, yeah. And then bring your hands to your lower back and onto your lower back. Yep. And then you're going to massage up and down. And then tap, 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 tap. Even a little bit lower. Yeah. There. That is like, welcome to the world, good morning. So your hands are like essentially 200 taps on your back. Cool. And it's awakening the kidney chi. Yeah, and so yeah, that you'll see, and then even just the rubbing of the lower back, you'll see like it's really quite common to like just like to awaken the morning, and you'll see when you do it, you actually really feel the difference. And I know now there's like quite a drive for like somatic exercises, like those sort of emotional exercises, and it's quite interesting to watch them because sometimes I'm like, oh, I've seen that before, right? Because the traditional Chinese person, they're doing these things without the added layer. They're not really conscious of the emotional aspect of those physical patterns that they're practicing every day. But now that someone's kind of put those two bits together, it's quite clear that like, oh wow, they've been doing that.
So there'd be one for every organ, right? Or every thing. Yeah.
Every system.
System is the word.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of organs, I'll go back to self-treatment.
Yes. Self-treatment, yeah.
So I'm going to do this and explain it. Probably not wise to do while driving. However, if you are the passenger, feel free. So if you were to find the bottom of your sternum with your right hand, go down approximately 2 inches. Yeah. Push slightly to the left. There you will find the lesser curve of the stomach. You'll find like a little dip in tissue. If you get your left hand, bring it around to your left rib as far as you can. That's approximately where your spleen is. So if you gently push those together, you're actually manipulating your stomach and spleen, and also having an effect on the splenic artery, which has a huge role to play. And it also has some kind of a stretchy effect on the superior mesenteric artery, which often gets choked during digestive disorders. So it can
Release that.
help release that.
How often should you do that?
As often as you need.
Well, how often would you use it?
Well, it depends what's going on, but for some, I've given that to some patients as like a homework type scenario, and up to 4 times an hour for some people.
Oh gosh, for how long?
Not long, just till they come in next. You'd
4 times an hour until I see you next.
Yeah,
Sometimes
like
I don't see
week.
you for a month.
Well, I don't give it to you, do I? No, but you'll know when you don't need it. That's the whole thing.
Okay. What do I feel when I don't need it?
Health and prosperity.
But is it a digestive thing that I'll feel?
Oh, it's if it's an emotional thing, you'll feel
Lighter.
Yeah, you'll feel lighter for sure. Because it also has an effect on the pancreas as well, and that's our massive emotional shock absorbers. So to help lighten that load just a little bit, make you feel a little bit freer. Do you give self, like the ear thing to patients? Is there any more of those?
Ears, eyes, cleansing.
So like no one for the sinus that doesn't involve peppermint oil. Because if you grab the top of your palate up there and you put your other hand in the ear and pull them apart, that helps open up the sinus.
Really obsessed with the sinus.
That's apparently so. Breathing's important, Norla.
I probably don't really give this is for my next module.
Listen out.
When I go back to work.
Well, lucky we're doing this episode. Now you've got so many more tools. You're welcome. I didn't bring it in, and I'm kind of locked in. Thieves Essential Oil.
He loves this.
Love the stuff. So, a quick little background.
We are not endorsed by...
We're not. We're open to it, but we are currently not. Thieves Essential Oil, made by Young Living. It's quite expensive. It's like $80 for that. Is that about 30 mil? Something like
Not a multi-level marketing.
It's about...
There is no reason it costs $80. Maybe because it's good. Anyway, sorry.
So anyway...
it's good.
It is. It's got cinnamon, clove, lemon, eucalyptus in it. And the quick story behind it is when the plague was running around, way before COVID, I think it was in London, everywhere was getting looted. And so these brothers, I think they were brothers, they finally got caught by the police, and they were before the judge, and before the judge sentenced, they said, we can either charge you for your crimes or you can tell us how you survived the plague.
Did everyone else die? How were the people in there?
Every single person except them.
And the judge?
That's how good this stuff is.
The police?
So then the judge said, charge you for your crimes, or tell us how you've survived. And they said, we're actually spice traders. So that's the concoction they used. And that's why they call it thieves today. But anytime I'm feeling run down, or when you get that feeling where you feel like something's knocking on the door, like a little bug or something,
yeah,
I'd have 2 drops of that in a litre of water. And within a day or 2, I'm absolutely fine again. Beating the plague every time so far. Hack.
I guess that's maybe something. Is that's the one thing you'll do if you're feeling a bit run down?
I'll also be wary of rest and how much I'm outputting as well.
Yeah.
That's like a little boost.
Yeah. I feel like for me that is to make sure I'm wearing socks. I'm well.
Oh, you're well. That's a sign that you're thriving.
If I'm starting to feel run down, it's usually that I'm cold. I've let myself get too cold. So I'll do a Epsom salt foot bath.
Yep.
And actually I noticed that with my kids. We don't have a bath unfortunately in our home, but I will sometimes when they get a bit sick, and that just reminds me, I've got to remember my hacks to actually implement them when they're needed. And
that's why they're hacks.
That's why they're hacks. But specifically that is to Epsom salt. Excuse me. Aqua.
Yep.
Epsom salts in a bucket of water, and we just all put our feet in there, and
Right.
usually quite quickly we're well.
Speaking of salt, you can put a pinch of salt in a litre of water, and that replaces all the electrolytes. So a lot of people drink filtered water, not knowing that drinking filtered water all the time actually strips the body of minerals. So you wee a lot, then you end up cramping a lot. But putting a bit of salt back in the water helps remineralize that.
And lemon and salt was like a whole nother game changer for me through pregnancy.
Is that like a neck level?
Neck level
Wow.
hack. But and another way to instead of like having untasty water for a litre of it, you just put the salt underneath the bottom of your tongue and drink the water, like let it dissolve in your mouth.
Yep.
And then drink the litre of water. Also powerful at
Also, speaking of lemons,
the electrolytes. Yes.
Speaking of lemons, this was tipped to me by a good chiropractor friend of mine, and I didn't believe it. He said, buy 3 lemons, cut them in half, put them in the oven, turn the oven on, and it cleans your oven.
Oh, yeah. That's not what I was thinking. But
I called him on his shit and ended up being right.
Hack.
And it was, I wouldn't recommend eating the lemons afterwards.
Yeah, no.
But it cleaned it.
And that's the other thing, I'm sure this is like age old. Not my hack, and honestly, I don't often use it, but I have a friend who does, is the lemon under the bed. I mean, not the lemon under the bed, the onion under the bed, because when you're unwell.
Oh.
No, not vaporized.
No, it's vampires.
Vampires, right, yeah. So like putting the
lemon. Oh, that's garlic.
Yeah, okay. So putting the onion underneath the bed when you're unwell can help to draw out, or putting the onion on your feet.
Yeah, I've heard of the feet.
Underneath in socks. So
I've heard of
slice of that. I've never done it, so maybe I will next time.
Also, speaking of that kind of stuff, there was rumour of a French soccer player. I think it was Barreau's patient who told him to put 8 Cabbage Patch leaves over his knee for, I think it was 5 nights or 8 nights or something. And then all the inflammation went away. Just from that.
Cabbage leaves.
Yeah.
The other thing to do too is like you can do that with Epsom salts over your knees or over whatever. Yeah. I've had a patient do that. I thought it was it was one of those things that I've written down when I've copied notes from my teachers, shared a hack. And I wrote it down, and then I said to my patient, it's like, I just can't get rid of the swelling. It's not uncomfortable. It's the swelling that's blocking the movement. And I recommended that, but then also being conscious that when we have swelling, it's the body's way of telling us something. So just taking the swelling away isn't always the
Well, it's there for a reason. I mean, you can talk about knee pain, but it'd put you to sleep. So there's something creating the swelling, but he used it because I think he had a game in X amount of time.
Yeah.
And it got him through. So
yeah.
Written coconut oil.
Well, that could be coconut oil. Oil pulling.
Everything. Oil pulling, yeah.
That is
can be a moisturizer as well.
It can also be a
good for post sun
teeth whitener.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually, I'm going to digress from the life hacks for a moment. I have read or have listened to a lady who did a lot of work with her child who was poisoned by a carpet cleaning. Was poisoned by whatever they'd used in the carpet cleaning product, and was poisoned to the point where she was going into kidney failure and whatever else. But the one thing that her knowledge was in something. She was a researcher of some kind, and at the time when her child was, imminent death, she was told that there was nothing that they could do, but they kept feeding her on a tube with just sugar water. And she was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. So then she went down, she researched, and she realized that actually I need to take out something in her diet, and she pretty much just went on to beans. So she just ate a lot of beans, and like, I wish I knew her name and I will find it. But she was explaining how she went onto this diet, and what she spoke about was that we shouldn't really consume too many oils like coconut oil. Use it on our skin, use it on our body, but don't actually consume it, because how long that takes for our liver to actually digest.
It's like 95% saturated fat.
Yeah.
So it is good for the system, but not in huge quantities. Yeah.
So if you're using a oil like coconut oil to cook, you kind of want to be conscious that it is.
Rotate. For me, my tip with that would be rotate what you cook with. Mm-hmm. But with coconut oil, I know a lot of people benefit if they have cold shivers. You have a teaspoon of coconut oil before bed, and it helps insulate the cell, so it keeps you warm.
Interesting.
Only while you're sick.
Only when you're actually sick.
Like in that real cold, you just can't warm up.
Or like a wind
Those,
cold.
Yeah.
Hack. All right, where are we at with hacks? Got any more?
We haven't gone in order. We rarely do.
But I've gone in order of the day. So now do you have anything more in the day?
More in the day.
Or like nighttime hacks? I feel like...
Not really a hack, but I would always sit down and probably more self-reflection. It's not a hack per se, but I would just find something I could have done better, and find something I was really glad happened. That's the only daytime thing. End of work day type thing. Other than record a podcast episode.
Yes. I think the other thing that comes to mind is, I guess these things are really, they're much easier for me to do now that I have children, and it's just a reminding that I'm spending some time at the end of the day with my kids, just asking them if there's something that I need to apologise for. A friend, Alex, who I've worked with, Portal by Alex is her name and her tag on Instagram, and she essentially guided me to do that in terms of, just asking my kids at the end of the day, like, was there anything that I needed to apologise for? And, sometimes it's things that you don't realise that they need, like that they really were impacted by. And, but it just also is a good, really beautiful self-reflection in that time.
Do they ever ask you the same question?
No, they
Selfish.
don't. Gosh. To work on that.
I've got another one here, survival reflex. This is for pain patients, really. Maybe it's fresh in my mind because we're in teaching season for the Czech Institute. One of the things that you can do for pain is one of the quickest rewriters of the nervous system. So an example of rewriting a nervous system engram, if you step on something sharp, you start to limp. You avoid the pain. So the pain is one of the quickest rewriters of that system. Then if you walk for long enough, your brain thinks, okay, this is how we have to move for this particular movement pattern from now on. So then it becomes a thing. The quickest way to rewrite that is to be in a survival situation. According to your nervous system, hear me out, don't give me those eyes. So a way we can mimic that.
Get a lion.
Get a lion at the edge of a cliff.
Then drop you in front of the lion.
One organism, everything will be switched on.
Yes.
But what we can do with patients and what we show students is just to balance on a Swiss ball. And that...
Like with your knees?
Well, with your knee, however you... Depending on your level.
I used to be really good at that.
I can sort of say that.
Hang on, survival, is that...
It's a survival reflex.
That awakens
if you were to simply lay over a Swiss ball...
die.
And just try and balance on it, you're...
Yeah.
Doing all kinds of stuff.
Worm thing.
That's a survival reflex. So it just wakes up everything.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a way to turn on a muscle that's been switched off that's been inhibited by pain.
Cool. Hack. How would I do that safely without, would you just start with just your feet on the floor still?
Well, depends what level, if you're really, really deconditioned, even just pretending to kneel on the ball can be enough. Because
Pretend to kneel?
Picture yourself kneeling on a ball.
Yeah.
Some people can't do that.
Yeah, okay.
So just that alone can be enough.
Yeah, but holding on to something or just without holding on?
No, without holding.
Without holding.
Or even sitting on the ball, lifting up one leg. that can create enough instability for someone.
Yeah, fully.
But the more conditioned you are, the more development you have, neurologically speaking, the more you need to challenge yourself.
Okay, what would we do next? Stand on the ball?
Would go from laying, kneeling, maybe something with a weight potentially.
In a kneeling position.
Or no, either kneeling or horizontal. So I wouldn't prescribe a bench press to someone. I think bench press is one of the most overused exercises on the planet. But I would get them to do that movement on a Swiss ball.
With a weighted?
With a weighted weight.
Weight.
Yes.
Okay.
Preferably dumbbell, but that's a different episode.
Okay.
That you probably wouldn't want to be here for.
I don't want to be here for that.
So that's a way that you can train the system because you upregulate neural drive, which bypasses the pain signals from the joint or the muscle.
By the way, next week we'll probably be talking about dumbbells and why you should not use a pole instead of dumbbells.
Can we?
Maybe.
Dumbbells are really smart.
If you're liking that. All right. I feel like we have gone through.
We got one more.
All right. Sorry. Go.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah.
Turn it off at night while you sleep.
Yeah.
Don't need to see your emails. I remember when I did my neck.
Message your neighbours and tell them to do the same.
Yes, and everyone in your neighbourhood and your street. Because I think from work, there's like 38 signals or something ridiculous.
So you were happy when the Wi-Fi was still.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. Anyway. No, because when I did my neck back in the day, I couldn't sleep because of the pain, obviously.
Okay.
I just felt irritated the entire time.
Oof.
I remembered something I saw about Wi-Fi. So I actually turned the Wi-Fi off because it actually goes right through you. It's like being in an X-ray machine. Mm-hmm. The radiation just radiates the cells and it shakes the cells. It just irritates the crap out of you. So I turned the Wi-Fi off and actually had a good night's sleep.
So it's the Wi-Fi making your neck sore.
Every night before I go to sleep. Now I've got little de-Wi-Fi things everywhere. Yeah. But because I turned mine off, I still get the neighbours. It would affect me somehow. And this also includes phones, laptop, any artificial light, power lines. It all counts.
Yeah.
So whatever you can legally turn off. Yeah. I would recommend turning off at night.
I've noticed that your street goes black at night. I'm always wondering why.
That's a coincidence.
Yeah. No, it is. It's hack. Really, really interesting because there is a bit going on in terms of EMFs and bits and pieces going around. So, just being really conscious that it does have an impact on us, and we are a energetic vibrational being, so anything that is vibrating and energetic is going to be influenced.
It's going to affect us, yeah.
Oh, it's going to affect us. Mm-hmm. I lost my words. I'm sure we have plenty more of these life hacks, but I'm just thinking of something just before going to bed. I will always wash my face with water. I know that sounds... can do eyes, can do the same cleansing routine. So nose.
But in reverse?
Oh, gosh. No, I just do it the same way.
Okay.
But like gargle, nose wash, eye wash, face wash.
Yep.
And through I remember through COVID, people were doing hydrogen, chloride. What's that? But either way.
What were they doing?
They would do a nasal wash with it.
Oh.
To just clear out COVID. Anyway, I just used water. Always just use water and clean out the debris of the day. But I feel like there's something to that as well. Just had a bit of a cough. But yeah, just doing that before going to bed, and then same thing there. I definitely do ritualize that in the evening as well, and slowing down. We were doing yoga in the night, and I can't recommend that enough as a life hack. It is...
Or stretch, if you don't like yoga. If you're one of those people that don't like yoga, a lot of guys don't like yoga. Because they're not good at it, because they're not flexible.
Yeah, but
most women love yoga because they're really good at it, because they're more flexible.
But my point, it's not about that. It's more about the connection between movement of body and breath.
I agree.
And I don't think that you need to meet yoga where...
I've just... I'm copying you.
You need to meet your... God, I Can't think of it. But yeah, you need to let yourself meet yourself where you're at when it comes to yoga. And I think it's the connection between movement and breath that is the powerhouse that yoga offers. And I think that is the piece that even if you're stretching, you should be conscious of breathing with your body. And I think
especially at nighttime.
Yeah, there's so many beautiful options for that as well. And actually I have a big life hack, and this kind of in the evening is to make sure, aim as best you can to eat at sunset. Because at that point you're then...
It's not the most powerful sunrise, sunset. Is that the hour of the rabbit? Is that what it's called? It's the most spiritually charged hours of the day?
Yeah, so I don't know about necessarily calling it the hour of the rabbit, but definitely it is potent energy in terms of our
it's
human vibration.
Yeah.
And capturing that sunlight is something out of this world. But yeah, there is
Egyptian sun gazing too.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yeah, sun gazing in the mornings.
Or morning or night.
Morning or night. But yeah, that at that transition of the day, it is energetically powerful. And I go through phases of doing these things, and choose a couple for yourself, try them on, test them out.
God, how many lives have we saved in this episode?
Wow, I was countless.
Can't even,
But yeah, enjoy your hacks, guys. We've enjoyed talking about them, and we will be implementing them soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to The Wizard and the Priestess. Thanks for stopping by. Stay connected and be open.